Welcome to Canuary 2023. This is a fantastic collaboration hosted by Lisa at Sutton's Day, where every single day in January there is a canning video posted. So make sure you watch every single video and comment on those videos because there's a fantastic giveaway. Lisa herself is giving away a brand new Presto canner, and then on top of it, 4 Jars is sponsoring 3 other giveaways. They're giving away an all-American 921 canner, just like my beloved canner. That's an over $400 gift, but on top of it, they're giving 200 lids to go with it. And then second prize is a $100 Visa card in a basket, and third prize is a $50 Visa card in a basket. I mean, how great is that? So just make sure, watch those videos and comment, and maybe you will be the spanking new winner of a Presto or an All-American canner. Now today we're going to make another recipe from Angi Schneider's Pressure Canning for Beginners and Beyond. I have featured this before in canning videos. Let me show you. I have made round steak and onions, hot sour chicken, and earlier this year I canned pork chops in a jar. And all those links, those videos are down below, and a link for buying this book from Amazon is down below. I highly recommend it. But today we are going to can pork tenderloin. I mean, that is a wonderful tender meat, and I think it becomes even more tender when you can it. To me, pork is the best meat to can because it tastes the most like pork that you don't can. You know, other meat can kind of change in consistency or taste, but pork really doesn't. So it's one of my favorite things to can. But before we start, I want to remind you, always practice safe canning, and I have a video on canning facts, that is frequently asked questions, that will help you be a safe canner and pack your pantry shelves with homemade goodies in a jar that you know are safe and you know what ingredients are in them. Now, let's get on and can pork tenderloin in a jar. Here's our ingredients. We want 5 pounds of pork tenderloin cut in 1-inch slices. And we have a lot of spices here. We have 2 tablespoons garlic powder, 2 teaspoons salt, 1 teaspoon ground black pepper, 2 teaspoons dried oregano, and 1 tablespoon onion powder. And you're going to want some oil, 2 tablespoons exact, to sear your pork tenderloin. And then you can use water, but not a bad idea to use a broth instead. You can use pork broth, which I just don't happen to have, chicken broth. So the recipe said to use pork or chicken broth. I decided to do something a little different. I made up some ham broth from this. It is L.B. Jameson's ham flavored soup base, and I think this will turn out just great. You only use a teaspoon for a quart of water. Now if you don't have any of those things, you can always just can it in water too, hot water, and that will turn out absolutely fine. And we should have 6 jars, our 4 jars canning lids, and 6 rings. And I have a couple other jars too, just in case it makes more than it says. So now, let's get on to the next steps. I've already sliced up the pork tenderloin in 1-inch slices. So now it's time to warm up our oil and sear both sides. You only need about 2 to 3 minutes a side. A little longer. That's pretty good. While our pork is searing, we'll put in all of our spices into our broth, and we're going to heat this up so it's nice and warm when we put it in the jars. While our broth is heating up and our pork is searing, put in the recommended number of inches for your pressure canner of water, and if you have hard water like me, add some vinegar. And we want to heat it up because we can put hot jars in a hot canner and it will can faster. So I have them packed in pretty good, and I really felt it took 7 pint jars. I didn't feel good about packing them any tighter. Maybe I could have. Now we're just going to put our broth in. Looks nice and rich, doesn't it? Be back when we're done with this. And make sure you debubble your jars. Sometimes when you do that, you need to put in a little bit more of your broth because it goes down below your 1-inch line. Now I like to put some white vinegar on piece toweling and wipe down my rims. Do that for all your rims. Don't want anything to prevent a good seal. Time to place our lids on the jar, and you can see I am using 4 jars lids. You know, since I started using these, I have never had a bad seal. So, highly recommend 4 jars. And if you're interested in buying them, I have a link down below where you can save 10%. Put on our lids. Now we're just putting on our rings, finger tight, just like that. Okay, now they're ready for our canner. Always make sure that the rim of your canner is well lubed. Your vent hole, okay, over here, check it. Make sure light can go through it. You want to be safe when you're pressure canning. And now we're waiting for a nice stream to come out of here, and then we're going to time it for 10 minutes. Well, I don't know if you can see it, but we got a nice steam, so we're going to time it for 10 minutes. Okay, it's been 10 minutes, so now we're going to put on our weight, and for me it's at 10 pounds. Do the right area for you. If you have a question about your elevation and what weight to use, I do have a canning pack on that. And here, we're going to wait until this gets up to 10 pounds of pressure and this starts jiggling. Okay, we got our jiggling, and now we're going to process because it's pint for 75 minutes. Here they are, fresh out of the canner and bubbling. We're going to wait 24 hours, then we will label them, take off the rings, put them on the pantry shelves, but we'll save 1 jar because we want to taste test it. Well, let's make some supper. We're going to open up our pork tenderloin. Hear that nice suction? There's what it looks like inside. Now let's pour some in. There we go. Now we're going to heat it up. Now we're just going to heat this up in the burner. I don't know, maybe about 6-7 minutes. We want the meat hot. We got a nice boil. The meat is hot all the way through. So now let's make the gravy. Now I'm just going to separate out the meat from the juice. There we go. Now let's thicken our juice and make gravy. Got a little cornstarch slurry here. Let's pour that in and put it over the burner. Okay, so we're just going to pour this in. And just thicken that juice up a little. Let it come up to boiling. Okay, we dish up. Have a little can of corn. Takes, less than 5 minutes to make in the microwave. Quick mashed potatoes, garlic, and again, takes only about 5 minutes. And then we just heated this up. So really, this is a fast dinner. Now let's get some of our gravy. Pour a little on our meat. Put it right in the middle there. Okay, doesn't that look good? And now we'll do our taste test. Here we go, taste test time. Let's get a little of that pork tenderloin. gravy. Melt in your mouth. Have a little of our potatoes and gravy. The gravy has a good flavor. A little more pork tenderloin. It is really, really good. It's good and it tastes like pork tenderloin. This is really a great meat to can. Well, I hope you've been enjoying Canuary and you will think about making pork tenderloin in a jar because it really is good. And look at that. You could make a supper in 10 minutes for your family with this. I mean, how great is that? Well, I'm getting hungry and I'd like to eat my meal. But I hope you're all watching the Canuary videos and commenting on them so you have a chance to win either a Presto canner or a All-American pressure canner or some Visa gift cards. You can't go wrong. So watch all the Canuary videos, comment on them, and I hope one of you is the lucky winner. Happy canning!